and we start really asking the questions that are meaningful to us, let's open our ears and take off the scales that are collecting on our eyes, and let's listen to what this other person has to say. The bottom line is what we hear on social media, what we hear from one another, those are the things that matter to us then. And so prioritization and communication is key. I had proposed when I first became a council member with discussions in the city manager's office that we have a public information officer specifically geared to communication and outreach with the citizens. Budget being what it is, we have a city secretary who also doubles as a public information officer, but even still, communication from the citizens to council and back is very important. And I think that's really the reason why we're out here today, is because we're trying to open up that communication gap and listen to one another on a more informal and sometimes on a more regular basis. So, thank you.
Nancy Drumberg, and I just would like to follow up a little bit from what you gave the audience on Thursday evening. I don't want a laundry list of your accomplishments, okay? I would like to know what qualities do you think is needed to be a good leader, and what makes you feel you can be better than the mayor we have now?
Leadership style is a very individual perspective, Ms. Dronberg, and you have sat in city council many times, and I'm certain that you have your, everyone comes at this question from a different perspective. As the former EDC director, I worked very hard to build up my staff and listen to their needs and really focus on the needs of the business community, what their needs were, and try to bridge that gap. I believe in outward listening versus pushing down on others' perspectives. My opinion is leadership is about filling in the gaps. I don't know everything. Not one of us does. Leadership is about finding who has this talent, or what is that talent that this person has? What does this individual council member bring to the table, and engaging and really asking them to bring that out as a priority, as a thing, a strength that they possess. In my mind, I don't possess all of the qualities that are needed for a community, but what I do know is that I can find those talents in other people to kind of pull that puzzle together and say, you matter, and you matter, and you matter. How can we move together in a way that's positive and productive and forward moving? So I hope that answers your question.
Thank you.
Ms. Drillberger, do you want me to address that too, or not?
Yes, please.
Okay. Thursday night I did not, just make a correction, I did not address my qualifications and what, my degrees and everything. I don't feel I should do that. But what I do feel is I'm just a little hometown girl living in a nice, beautiful little city that I fell in love with 24 years ago. And to me, leadership, most important thing on leadership is listening. Listening to your council, listening to your citizens, listening to staff, basically listening in your city. Anybody can be a leader, and say, I have leadership. But what makes you unique is if you can really listen and treat everybody with respect. My dad always told me, don't expect to get respect first. You have to give it first and then you'll get it. So I feel that I have to respect everyone standing up there and citizens and staff. Like I said, leadership comes with caring. If you care, you can learn to be a leader. I'm not going to say I'm a good leader. I can say I know how to become a good leader by giving me the chance. I know what I'd like to see done here in this beautiful city of ours, if only given the chance. Leadership comes with experience. And how to get experience, if you put that person up there and you listen to what they have to say, and you listen, and they listen to what you have to say, Ms. Stromberger. I don't know it all. I never claimed to know it all. But I do know that I love people, and I love helping. And I need to listen to council, because council has their opinions too. Leadership begins with listening to people. Thank you, Ms. Stromberger. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Julia. I am actually not a resident of Converse, but the reason I've been following it a lot lately is because my intention is to eventually move to Converse. I've been doing my own research for quite a while. It'll probably be a few years before I get here because I have a brother that I take care of that lives close to where I'm at. But in the future, this is where I want to come. I want to know what Converse is about and what Converse offers me. I also had a question and to follow up to this gentleman on the 911. And I guess my question is, in my simplistic thought, to me, wouldn't it be, or wouldn't it make sense, common sense, to have a 911 dispatch from the police department? And if not, why can it not be accomplished? I have several, so y'all can answer as I go if you don't mind.
Okay. To answer the question, Julia, a few years ago, actually not too long ago, the city of Converse had its own dispatch out of its police department, and as a result of cost evaluation, it was determined that the best way forward was to include other agencies in that dispatching. We have access to their appraisal, Bayer County Sheriff's Office resources as a result of being able to incorporate our dispatch with them.
Can you repeat your question again, ma'am?
I was following off of this gentleman's 911 situation, an example that he gave. So my question is, couldn't it be stationed in the police department? And if it can, why isn't it? And if it can't, why can't it?
As I stated a minute ago, 911, since it has been taken from our city and moved downtown to Bexar County, in order to get 911, and I have gone down and asked downtown, once you move 911 to downtown, in order to move 911 back here, you have to apply, and it has to be called a communication center. Because once it got moved and went downtown, and we pay for calls, when they come in, the city pays for calls that come in, and they're charged that fee. So that's how it's added up. But when I went downtown, they said, because your 911 was moved away from here, you have to apply downtown again, but you cannot call it 911. You have to call it communication center, which 911 will go in there. 911 will go, your rural routes will go, your radios will go in there, everything, but you have to apply, ma'am. The city has to apply for a communication center, because it won't be say, oh, 911 dispatch. Everything will fall underneath, and my understanding is that the equipment is still there, but it's closed. So you have to go through the formal documentation in order to get communications center back here with the 911 in it.
Okay, so my next question is, if it was taken away from here and you addressed the fact that it was about $570,000
Yes,
close to it, how much is it costing the city now to do what we're doing? And including the time?
If I'm not correct, I didn't look at it very thoroughly. If I'm not correct, I think it's, the thing is $177,000 for this year. We have to pay Bear County $177,000, ma'am. And like I said, and I don't know how much it would cost to move it back in. I didn't ask that. I just asked the process of how we have to go through it, because, you know, I was scared to go, oh, let's see what you know, how much it's gonna cost. Because they told me, Bear County told me, once you moved it, you're gonna have to apply all over again. But we have the equipment, and the equipment that was there, the police department didn't pay for it. It was through a grant through 911. So a total, you know, estimate of all equipment are $570, but the city didn't pay the $570,000 because they got the equipment through a 911 fund. So I'm hoping that answers, sweetie, because like I said, I went downtown and I was scared to answer because, you know, we can't move nothing without the consent of all council.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I was trying to get at. Has someone actually really totaled it? So now what you told me with that is, first I'm thinking, okay, 570 as opposed to 170 something. Yeah, it makes common sense to have them, you know, send off to the city of San Antonio.
Yes, ma'am.
But then it doesn't answer his question as far as the response time.
Yes, ma'am, and I understand that.
Earlier, I mean, if they have to call 911 there, then it has to come back to Converse. How much is it? So, in addition to that, and y'all don't have to answer this, it's a rhetorical question. I'd be curious to know how much of that equipment, deducting from that 177 from the 570, plus the equipment, especially if it was a grant that didn't come from the city.
Yes, ma'am.
How much is actually the difference? My next.
Okay, unfortunately, like I said, I apologize and I'm sorry 911 went away, and I did speak that up that night. Unfortunately, I was the only one that did, and I voted no because I felt that it was for the safety of the citizens. And unfortunately, it's taken you 20 minutes, and I'm sorry that this is happening. But that's why I went and did my research on the communication center.
And I apologize because one of the in the format, what I did want to say is I'm going to limit you guys to one question each, and then I'll come back to you. That way we can be heard from everyone. So that's on me, I apologize. Anybody else?
Many of the citizens are concerned with taxes and infrastructure, roads, sidewalks, services that are provided. We are impacted in Converse by what the city of San Antonio's council has been doing. And for instance, last week was the Green Initiative, which could in the future really impact CPS electric rates for our citizens. The issue with Whataburger and affecting small business owners, the Sick Leave Act that just recently was passed, that can affect a lot of small business owners. The big guys probably are able to manage it pretty well, but all of the little businesses that are in the area are all of San Antonio and Converse. So how do you address the impact of those other initiatives in our county that is going to impact the ability to get business, retain business, and increase those sales tax dollars that can help really move our city? Another initiative.
First of all, Jay, that's a great question. And second, I think the answer to that question is really to be able to lean in with San Antonio and ask these same questions of them. What is happening in San Antonio as a result of these initiatives is really pushing business our way. As a matter of fact, it's really helping us. It improve our opportunities for additional business to come to Converse. Unless I'm misunderstanding your question, the reality is with additional regulations in San Antonio,